Horrible. Here's Mr. Rat. Nope, this is Mrs. Rat. Here's Mrs. Rat, and she's hungry, so she's going to take some food into her mouth, and she chews it up. Nom, 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 nom. Yum. And the food is going to go back here. This is the rat's tongue right here, and as you can see, it's connected at the base here. It goes back quite a bit farther than you would expect a tongue to go back. And as the tongue, and this is the two of those meet, after the rat has masticated the food for a while, it goes to the back of the throat. When the tongue and the soft palate meet, that's when the food is going to go down. There's a little passage here, and you can see the hole. That's going to be the glottis. The food's going to go down the hole, and it's going to go into the digestive system. The first stop past here is going to be the esophagus. The esophagus, when we're looking for, let's talk about directional terms here for just a second. What is this part right here? Trachea. If the trachea is going to be in the middle of the rat, then is this going to be, the esophagus, is it medial or lateral to the trachea? It's going to be lateral to the trachea, exactly. So the food's going to go down the esophagus. The esophagus will go behind the heart. It's going to go behind the lungs. And the lungs are these little teeny-weeny organs right here. This is the diaphragm right here. Then it's going to go underneath the liver, and it will connect right here to the very top of the stomach. Right there is the end of the esophagus. So the esophagus comes into the stomach. This is the pancreas right here. This little thing that looks like fat around the stomach is the pancreas. So the food comes into the stomach. At this point, it mixes with the juices that are in the stomach, and it is now called a bolus of food, and the bolus of food is going to continue through the intestinal tract. This little bolus of food is going to be mixed in 10 different directions by the stomach. As it mixes and all the hydrochloric acid comes into it, the hydrochloric acid, because this is a rodent, and the rodent is not eating food that is FDA approved, the rodent is going to have a whole bunch of different things in its diet than we would have, and chances are very good that the food is going to be somewhat putrid. This food, you're going to hear that. You are so going to hear that on the video. Because this food is putrid, that it's going to, okay, and as the food goes down,
this is on Diego.
This is not putrid, though. Okay, so as the food goes down in here, the hydrochloric acid is going to do two things. One, it's going to break the food down into smaller bits. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to neutralize any of the bad bacteria that are in it. Once the hydrochloric acid makes the stomach about a pH of 2. Once the food passes through this little area here, and this is a pyloric valve, and it's going to go into this area of the small intestine, which is the duodenum. Okay.
Duodenum.
Duodenum. And so as it goes through this area right here, it's going to have duct work. The ducts are going to come from both the liver and from the pancreas, and they're going to dump into the duodenum. When it goes into this area, then it becomes bile. When it goes into this area, and that bile is in here too, and when it comes up, it's So anyway, as it dumps into this area right here, it lowers or heightens the pH. The pH is now at 8 instead of being at 2. The normal pH. We have a soundtrack. Yeah. So the pH.
He's playing the ukulele.
He's multi-talented.
He's got this is only 20%, so we need to keep going.
Okay. So here in the duodenum, we're going to have the juices from both the pancreas and from the liver dumped into it. The pH here is 8. Your typical pH is 7, so it's going to be slightly basic instead of slightly acidic. The basic pH is going to last all the way through the rest of the intestinal tract. As we trace this down, we go from here to the jejunum. The jejunum is the bigger part of the intestinal tract. This area right here, this material is called the mesentery. Okay, the mesentery is just full of veins and arteries. We have if we were to look at the mesentery at the top here, right underneath the stomach, what is going to innervate this? What is going to feed it the veins and arteries?
Superior mesentery.
Very good. If we were to look at the one down here, it would be the inferior. There you go. So these are going to be some more of your directional terms.
Range 7.
Good.
Range 10.
So we have the jejunum here. The jejunum is going to turn into the ileum. The ileum will be what is connected at the valve, the ileocecal valve. So here's the end of the small intestine here. This is the ileum.